How certain were they on you? That's what it all comes down to. How certain they are on you, the company, and what you're selling. But usually it just comes down to two, not all three factors. So the question now becomes, how do we make them so certain that they become buyers? And the best way to go about this, and the same way that I went about it in my business, which was the main thing that let us do 50 Gs in that first summer that we started, is using communication to your full advantage. And I made up a word for this. It's called receivability. And you want to use your receivability to your advantage. I don't actually think that that's a real word. I made it up when I was writing this thing down. But essentially what receivability means is how well the customer hears what you're trying to say, or how well you say what you're actually trying to say. Because a lot of the time when we market or when we sell, we can't find the right words to describe or sell the thing that we're trying to. So keep going back to your wording, your copyright, your pitch, and just keep on re-editing it, rewording it, and keep making it better and better. Because even the 100th draft is nowhere near as good as the 1000th draft is going to be. Whatever. So keep on doing this while having in mind that you want the person on the other end to be able to understand it how you want it to be understood. Also, you want to be able to objection handle very, very, very clearly. It's a lot harder to do online than it is in person, because in person you get the person in front of you, you see their body language, their tonality, everything. So there you have a much better chance of actually selling them as opposed to online. But what objection handling is essentially the objection is when the customer first sees the buy sign or the buy button, or when you first ask them for the sale. The objection is they say no with a reasoning to their no. Then objection handling is hearing that and then overcoming it. But going back to what I was saying in the very beginning, the reason people don't buy is based purely on how certain they are on you or the business and on what you're selling. So how do you actually communicate to your future customers that what you're selling is actually worth it and that you aren't a total scam? It's by telling them. As obvious as it sounds, that's the single thing that's helped us make all the money. And that's the single thing that's going to help you, and that's already helped all these other businesses make all the money. But how you tell them is the biggest thing, because you can't just say, well, sir, you need to be certain on me because I'm not a scammer. Look at my face. Is this a beard of a scammer? That's not going to work out if you do that way. Unless you're me, because my beard is freaking great. So how I sell when I'm in person, and then I'll tell you how you should be selling when you're online. First, how you sell in person and how I do it and how I trained all of my reps to do it too, is after you give them the presentation and then you ask for the sale. By the way, don't forget to ask for the sale. Don't just leave it open-ended for the other person to say, okay, yeah, sure, how do I buy? You have to ask for the sale yourself. If you aren't already doing that, this is going to 10x the money that you're making right now. And usually after you ask for the sale is when they usually say no. Or after you don't ask them and when you finish the thing, that's usually when they tell you no and when they give you the objection. And the beauty of that is that this is when the real sales start. This is when the real selling starts. And how I go about it is I give them a second presentation where I resell the customer on myself and what we're selling, which for me it's window cleaning and gutter cleaning and essential home services. But it could literally be anything that you're selling, whether you're selling solar or MacBooks, whatever it is, or even food, whatever it is, the same thing applies. So first, you acknowledge that you heard them. You need to understand the other person for them to understand you. Then you kill their objection. Say they say something along the lines of, I'm not the decision maker, my wife is. To that you would reply, well, you're the man of the house, stop being a little and buy the thing. I'm kidding, don't ever say that. That's the worst thing you could say. You kill the objection, or you show that the objection is completely irrelevant. And then you loop, which I'll teach you what this is in about like 5 seconds. And then after that, you close them, or you ask for the sale again. And what looping is it's essentially you re-pitching the customer. You retell the customer the entire script just in different wordings. Essentially, you say who you are, what you guys do, what problem you solve, how easy it is for them to buy too. My full pitch, it goes along the lines of, hey, I'm Issa. I'm pretty sure you've seen us around with IF Windows, with IF Cleaning, new name to the company, so I keep on getting it messed up, but back on track. We're helping out a couple of the neighbors cleaning the windows as well as the gutters on the top and cleaning the roofs, just because, especially with spring and summer right around the corner, everyone wants a bit of a cleaner home or some nicer view, or a nicer view. And really quickly, if you want, I can go around the home, check it out, and give you a quick price. You got a minute? Also, you probably noticed that like I have these up and downs in my tone. You want to have that too, because it essentially brings them right back into the pitch. Because if you're just a straight line, or best analogy I can give you is imagine your teacher talking and they're a straight line. Their voice is just flat. You don't listen to them. So add a bit of charismaticness to it. Actually make it sound like you care about it, which if you do actually care about it, it's going to be a lot easier. And usually it's at this point that if they aren't already 100% sold on it, they say, no, it's okay, I'm not interested, or whatever they say. To that, I'll usually hit them with a one-liner. Like if they say no right off the bat, I'll throw out a one-liner kind of as like a Hail Mary, and then something along the lines of, fair enough, no one's ever interested until they hear a great deal. Can I at least just shoot my shot? And then they'll either be like, okay, fine, that's fair. Or they, again, just say, no, that's okay. And to that, I just reply with, that's okay, have a good one. And a quick tip, the goal shouldn't be to sell every single person, because that's not true and that's never gonna happen. The goal is to turn the maybes into yeses, not the no's into yeses. So if they say no, that's okay, you can't sell everyone. But if they say yes, then that means that there is some interest, and you can turn that some interest into the close, or into the, yes, let's buy it, it's gonna make my life better. So after I give them the price and I give them the scoop of how it goes, then they either get to say yes, which then I shut up, I process the sale and I set up the appointment, or if they say no, that's where the looping begins. So let's just say the guy's like, I don't know, my wife makes all the decisions. And the way to go about it is kind of the same for everything. I always just say, well, not I say, I actually understand them, like, okay, fair enough, I get where you're coming from. I still live with my mom, so I get it. I don't have full control over everything that goes on either. But one of the main beauties of this is, and then I go right into the repitch, where I essentially resell them on what we're selling and then on myself. So the best way to go about it is to use someone else. One of the main reasons why all the neighbors are buying it is because X, and then I give them a reason of why it really is a good purchase. And the biggest part of this is your certainty on yourself. If you're not certain on yourself, it's never going to work out. So main reason everyone's buying it is because we're throwing in the whole package. We're doing the windows as well as everything around. And then also, as kind of a courtesy, we're also cleaning all the deck glass for free. We're a bit busy right now, we're coming back tomorrow, and then if you want to do it, we come back tomorrow, we finish the job, and you pay once you're happy, either cash card or e-transfer. Does that sound fair enough? And then if they say no one more time, it's like depending on how they say no, then maybe I'll try one more time. I'll be like, is it more of a price or value type of thing? And then if it's a price thing, we can work on that. If it's a value thing, we throw on a bit more. Just find some things that you can throw in for free. And then again, I re-ask for the sale. Do not forget to ask them for the sale. Be like, does that sound fair enough? And then they're like, yeah. The most basic ones are like, does that sound fair enough? Do you want to do it? Just things like that. That's what you want to say. And then again, if they say no, then it's kind of like, that's okay. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Because if you keep trying to sell someone who just doesn't care, firstly, you waste your time and their time too. And secondly, if they just didn't like you at all, they're going to be telling their friends and families and whoever that, hey, this guy's so annoying, don't do business with him. All he cares about is the money, or whatever they thought of you. So my advice, take the sale as far as you can. And if you're direct to consumer or you're selling online, but it really comes down to your message and your marketing. With your ads or with your messaging on the descriptions or whatever, make them as certain as you can on the business and on the product or service or whatever you're selling. And then for the objection handling, I would have like a FAQs page where it deals with all the objections and makes them more certain on you. So make them certain on you, the business, what you sell, and maximize that. Ultimately, keep your head up high. One thing I always talk about is the mental attitude that you need, the mindset that you need, because that's honestly the most important thing. People can tell you as much as they want about tips and tricks, but it all comes down to the principles. So always have your head up high. One no isn't going to destroy your business. And one thing is too, your first customer will never be the first person who clicks on your website or the first person you talk to. Also, try and be as genuine as you can. Don't just care about the money that they're going to give you right now, because that's going to set you up to not do very well in the future. Because if you're just focused on the next $1, $100 or whatever, you're never going to get the thousands, the 10,000s, the 100,000s. And also, with long term, give your customer your all. Mainly because, of course, they are giving you their money. And I'm not just saying this in case one of my customers are watching this and I want to sound good to them. I'm being genuine about this. I'm being serious about this. But I'm saying this because if you can make them happy, they'll make you much, much happier in the long term too. With the referrals that they give you, with the ratings that they give you, and the endorsements that they give you. Because the easiest sells in your life are the people that you resell to, or people that come from you saying, hey, my friend told me that you guys are super sweet and I want to buy what you're selling. Those are the easiest sales you're ever going to have in your life, and the only way you get those is by honestly selling the best product or service. So please sell receivably, the made up word. Make the offer super, super worth it. Give them bonuses, do things as courtesy, just make it worth it. Do not forget to sell on yourself or the business and on what you're selling. Make them super certain on those three things and you'll overcome every objection. Know what your goal is. Turn the maybes into yeses, dismiss the no's, and become rich as fuck. So thank you for watching the video. I really, really appreciate you for making it to the end. I know I say this every video, but genuinely it does mean a lot to me. This is not my heart, this is my heart. You don't want to mess with the mic, but it genuinely does mean a lot to me. Also, sorry for all of the videos kind of being on business and selling. Right now, we're relaunching my business, so that's all I care about. That's all I'm thinking about. And I don't know, I want you to also be into this. I want you to also be winning at this too. I'm kind of yapping right now, but whatever. If you want to talk and hang around with more like-minded people as well as me, join the Discord. This is the first link in the description. We're doing a bunch more involved things in it now. As well as that, subscribe to the newsletter or like the writing, essentially on a week-to-week basis, usually like 2 or 3 minute read. And also go ahead and check out issa5.com. All these things are in the description. There's some free courses on there, especially IF Business. I go a lot more in depth on selling in there. But yeah, enough of me plugging. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much again. Have a good one. Bye-bye.